48 teams, 3 host nations, 1 trophy. This is the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Let's break down every team and crown a winner. The hosts, United States, the home nation. Built around a generation of Americans who grew up watching Premier League and Champions League football. Christian Pulisic leads the attack. Weston McKennie drives the midfield. On home soil, the atmosphere is a weapon. A quarterfinal is possible. A semifinal would rewrite history. But the real prize for the USA isn't the trophy. It's making a nation fall completely in love with football. Mexico. 7 consecutive round of 16 exits. That curse has haunted a generation. Now, with Santiago Giménez leading the line as one of Europe's most clinical strikers, and the Estadio Azteca behind them, Mexico arrives desperate to exorcise something. The atmosphere alone is a competitive advantage, but Mexico's problem has never been ability. It's always been that glass ceiling. Will 2026 finally break it? Canada. Their 2022 campaign was their first World Cup in 36 years. It ended without a single win. This time, they have Alphonso Davies, the Bayern Munich fullback with pace that breaks the laws of physics, and Jonathan David, one of the most clinical strikers in League One. Canada has nothing to lose, and that combination is the most dangerous thing of all. Europe's elite Spain, the bookmakers' favorite, reigning European champions, holders of the most disciplined possession game on earth. Rodri controls the tempo. Pedri reads the game with calm intelligence. And then there's Lamine Yamal, 19 years old, already the most exciting player on the planet. When Spain has the ball, opponents don't just lose possession, they lose their belief. This feels inevitable, but injuries to Yamal and Rodri have already rattled the camp. In knockout football, one bad half can erase everything. France. The most frightening squad on paper. Kylian Mbappé from Real Madrid. Griezmann, Tchouaméni, Upamecano, and a bench that would start for almost any other nation. When France hits its rhythm, Mbappé with space behind a defense is a crisis before it's even started. They've won it in 2018. They reached the final in 2022. The talent is undeniable. The question France has been trying to answer for years, whether they can channel it all into one coherent month, remains unanswered. England. 60 years. That's how long England have waited. Jude Bellingham, Phil Foden, Bukayo Saka, Harry Kane. Arguably the most talented English generation in that entire stretch. They know the path. A World Cup semifinal, 2 Euro finals. What they've never solved is the final step. Ice-cold nerve when it matters most. A new generation has changed the mood. England arrived genuinely believing. This squad is ready to be the one that finally closes the chapter. Germany. Germany reloads, they don't rebuild. Florian Wirtz, Jamal Musiala, Kai Havertz. Under Nagelsmann, they press with purpose and defend with collective discipline. 4 World Cup titles. More big match experience than almost any nation on earth. Germany doesn't panic. Germany performs. They may not arrive as favorites, but they have a history of leaving as champions. Portugal, Cristiano Ronaldo, now 41, playing in Saudi Arabia, making absolutely no apologies for still being here. Around him, Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, João Felix. Portugal has genuine quality that extends beyond any one player, but emotionally the entire tournament orbits Ronaldo. This is almost certainly his last, and Portugal knows exactly what history is demanding. Netherlands. 3 World Cup finals without a trophy. Virgil van Dijk commands the defense. Frankie de Jong threads passes from midfield. Tijani Reinders has emerged as a genuine force. Compact, fluid, dangerous on the counter. A realistic ceiling of a semi-final. Maybe, if everything clicks, a final. There is something about Holland at a World Cup that always feels like a promise that arrives without quite being kept. Croatia. No business being this good, and yet they always are. Luka Modric, 40 years old, still running the midfield with grace and vision. Mateo Kovacic, Joško Gvardiol. Croatia's strength isn't raw talent. It's organization, belief, and tournament DNA. Never write them off. They have no business going deep, which means they almost certainly will. Other European sides to watch. Norway have Erling Haaland, the most devastating striker in the world. One moment of space is all he needs. Switzerland are quietly one of the most reliable knockout teams in Europe. Scotland are at their first World Cup since 1998, built on collective spirit and Premier League quality. Turkey have Arda Güler, the Real Madrid youngster who could be the tournament's breakout star. Sweden have Alexander Isak. Austria, under Rangnick, press as aggressively as anyone. South America, Argentina. Defending champions. Messi lifted that trophy in Qatar and completed the story football spent 3 decades writing. But this is 2026. Messi is 38. McAllister controls the midfield. Julian Alvarez hunts goals relentlessly. Defending champions have never retained the World Cup since Brazil in 1962. Argentina will try. The entire world will be watching. Brazil. 5 stars. A style of play that once set the entire standard for beautiful football. Vinicius Jr. is their defining weapon. Electric pace, devastating dribbling. Rafinha, Rodrigo, Casemiro behind them. Brazil have the firepower to score against anyone. Their problem has always been translating individual brilliance into collective tournament consistency. A nation of millions has been waiting far too long for a 6th star. Colombia. Not nearly enough people have been paying attention. James Rodriguez carries World Cup pedigree from his stunning 2014 Golden Boot campaign. Luis Diaz is almost uncontainable on the left flank. If everything clicks, Colombia can take down a genuine heavyweight without anyone seeing it coming. Uruguay, small, proud, and always dangerous. Darwin Núñez brings pace and ferocity. Federico Valverde is the relentless engine. Uruguay defends as a collective unit and has been punching above its weight for a century. There is no reason to believe 2026 will be any different. Africa-Morocco, semi-finalists in 2022. The first African team in history to reach that stage. They dismantled Belgium, Portugal, and Spain in succession. Hakim Ziyech creates. Achraf Hakimi attacks from fullback better than almost anyone in the world. Their defensive structure is among the best in this entire tournament. Nobody wants to draw Morocco in their group. Senegal, reigning African champions, built on physical power, technical quality, and European experience. Sadio Mané remains the figurehead, capable of a shock result against any team that underestimates them. Egypt, Mohamed Salah, one of the 5 best forwards on the planet. Intelligent, clinical, and capable of goals that appear impossible until the moment they go in. If Salah fires throughout this tournament, Egypt can take points from almost anyone. Asia and the rest Japan, the first team to qualify, shocked Germany and Spain in 2022. Under Moriyasu, they press like a European team and defend like one too. Nobody is writing Japan off anymore. A quarterfinal is within reach. South Korea. Son Heung-min can single-handedly change a match. The squad has Premier League and Bundesliga quality throughout. When South Korea is alive and organized, they create an atmosphere that can turn any game on its head. Saudi Arabia shocked Argentina in 2022, one of the greatest upsets in World Cup history. They believe they can do it again. Don't dismiss them. And then there are the debutants. Jordan, Uzbekistan, Cape Verde, Curaçao. Smaller nations making their World Cup debuts for the very first time. They won't win the trophy, but every minute they play will inspire the next generation of footballers in their countries for decades. That matters more than any scoreline. So, who wins? The numbers say France. The talent says France. The squad depth, the individual quality, Mbappe in a knockout match at full pace, that is the most dangerous combination in world football right now. But Spain have the system that wins tournaments, and they have Lamine Yamal. England have 60 years of hurt and a squad that finally looks ready to end it. Brazil have 5 stars and desperately want a 6th. And Messi is still here. 104 matches, 48 teams, 1 trophy. The prediction says France. But football doesn't run on predictions. It runs on moments. And that is exactly why we watch.